Hello everyone, welcome back to JDCodebase. This is the 8th video of our MERN Task Manager series. In the last video, we set up the React with the weight and tailwind CSS. And in this video, we are going to build the complete front end. Now, I have already written the complete code in the Home.jsx file. And we are not going to type everything live because a lot of it just CSS classes, and that is boring to watch for you. Instead, we are going to go through every part of the code and understand exactly what each line does. So this is actually a better way to learn. So let's open, this is your home.jsx file. So let's get started. First, let me show you the complete file here. This looks like a lot, but don't worry, we are going to break it down into small pieces by the end of the video, and every single line will make sense to you after this video. So first I have these three import statement, that is, the first one is the axios. So this is what we use to send request from front end to back end, and we add a task, delete a task, or fetch task. Axios is what actually communicates with our express server. Second one is the useEffect and the useState from the React. So these are called hooks. useState store the data that can change, and useEffect run code when the component load. So we will see both of them in action very soon. And third one is a this trash to circle, and these are the icons. And trash to, like, for the delete button, and the circle is empty circle when task is not completed, and circle check, green check when task is completed. So after that, we have these four variables. So first one is the task. This is an array format that hold all our task data fetch from the database. It start as an empty array. When we fetch a task from the backend, we fill this array. When this array changes, React automatically update the screen. Second one is a single task. It's a string value. It hold whatever the user is typing in the input box. As the user start typing, it means as the string fill start. Next one is the add loading and the loading state. These are the boolean value, true or false. When we are adding a task, it becomes true. This disable the add button also, so user cannot click it twice or many times. And when adding is done, it goes back to the false. Also loading state, also a true or false, a boolean value. When we are fetching all the tasks, it becomes true, so this shows a spinner loader on the screen. If UI for this, when fetching is done, it goes back to the false. Now next is a fetch task function. This one here, I have this function fetch all the tasks from our backend. First, we set loading to the true. Why? Before we fetch, loading becomes true, and spinner shows, mean it may take 1 second, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. So instead of blank screen, it shows that spinner. And after that, this try catch block axios.get the backend URL, localhost API task, and axios.get means we send a get request to our backend. This is the same URL we tested in the Postman in the video 6, and but this time axios return a response. We store it in the response. And next is the set task response.data, means response.data here is the array format, means array of the task coming from our backend, and means we pass it to the set task variable, and React sees that data change and update the screen automatically, re-render the entire component. Finally, and after that, the catch block and the finally block. So finally blocks run whether request is succeeded or the failed. We set loading back to the false, so spinner disappear from the screen. Next is a useEffect, this hook. This is a useEffect hook, means when our home component load for the first time, means I just refresh the page, or I just come to the page, open the website. So it's this component load the first time at that point. So this run fetch task automatically. So tasks are the fetch and shown as the page opens. Means inside this fetch task function called, and it's get the data. And here if you see this empty array here at the end here, it is very important here. It means run this only once when the page load or refresh, not again and again every time something changes. Second is the handle add function. This function is runs when user submit the data. Uh, when user just click the add button for submitting the task. So here in this first is the e.preventDefault, and by default when I click the submit button, a form refresh the page, and I do not want to means that refreshing the page. So this line stop the refresh e.preventDefault, and when every time you write a form and you write a function for that form, you must have to write the e.preventDefault for not refresh the page every time. And next is the task.trim and return, means if the input is a empty or just spaces, stop here. Don't add an empty string into the means into the data or send it to the backend. And after that all the check, we set the set add loading true, means add button show adding and get disabled for some seconds or time until the request completed. And after that I try catch block. This is for axios.post the backend URL. For this means we send a post request to the our backend with the task title. So this is the URL, and for sending the data I have to just write into the this object format, this curly braces, and type the title and the data. Means this create a new task in the MongoDB, and after this request completed, success set task to the empty string and fetch the task, means again fetch the refresh the task list, so new task appear on the screen. So that's why I write here the fetch task function, and again the console the catch block, and the finally says the add loading back to the false, so button shows the add again. Now next is the handle delete button. So let me minimize these functions. Yes, so now handle delete function, it says this function delete task, means async id receive the task id. It received the task id, and we need this to tell backend which task to delete. So I just pass this into the as a backtick I use to add the id in a template littles. So axios dot delete with the id in the URL, this dynamic id, and send a delete request to our backend, and it puts the id value inside the URL string. And after that we call the fetch task function again, so it refresh the list and deleted task disappear. Now after that I have this handle update function. So this function mark a task as the completed or not completed. We pass the full task object, not just the id here. Why? Because we need the both task id and the task dot completed field here. Here if you see again axios dot put, I just use the backtick to use the temp means use the dynamic this id task dot id, and here I am passing this data inside the bracket inside the curly braces task completed. If the completed is false, make it true. If it is true, make it false. Every click toggles between the complete and not complete. So this is called a toggle by using the not operator. In the programming language we have this not operator. I hope you know this. And after that again fetch task means refresh the list with the updated state. Now this is the one of the most this completed task, means this count how many tasks are completed. As the task is an array format, and in the array in the JavaScript array we have a method called the filter. It count how many tasks are completed, means I just pass the array a single task, it check whether the task dot completed is true. then put into the complete task array, and else just skip it. And I'm giving the dot length here. So count how many are left after the filtering. So this number shows the completed stat card. Now let's come to the JSX part of this file, and this is the first div. Here is the this is our title section. This highlighted section is our title section. Here I just write the CSS, some tailwind CSS like text 5XL on medium screens like a laptop or tablet screen. Font is black. Background color is the linear from a gradient color from blue to purple, and the task manager and the some subtitle for this. So this is how you make gradient text in the tailwind, but just write the BG linear to right from blue 400 to purple 500. And after that these let me minimize this. After that we have these two cards, two stats card here. So two cards side by side using the grid. See, I write the grid and grid calls 2 with the gap of 5 and the margin bottom 8. So means two equal columns with a gap of 5 means space between the two cards. First card show the total count, the task dot length here as the array, and second card show the completed task, a completed count in the green text, like a text green 400, and the text is the normal for the task dot length. Next is the form here. Here if you see the I write here on submit handle add, means when the form submit call, when this button is clicked, it's a type button and type submit button, and when this button is clicked on submit call this handle add function, and here this is a input field, and inside this type is a text and placeholder, and the value here is the task, and on change when I start typing, it's just called this set task e.target.value. I am assuming you know basic React JS skills. So for this means how to change and how to use the React input here. So this is a control input, React control. What is the input box, not the browser. Every keystroke update the task state here. And here disables button when the add loading start, means button disable while adding, and shows the while add loading is true, show this, else show the add button, means text change based on the loading state on the button. Next one is a loading spinner. So yes, so here I have this. First we check if it is loading is true or not, means I just press the, means when refresh the page, it start loading true, so it shows the loading spinner by using this. And if yes, show the spinning circle, means animate spin. This is a tailwind class, and this rounded full means radius is 100% for this, and height 14, width 14, 100% radius, means no extra package I used for the showing the loading a spinner here. If loading is the false, show the task list, means else I'm using the ternary operator. This is the base how we show the dynamic data. If loading is false, show the task, and if task total length is 0, means there is no task, means show empty state message, that is the no task yet, add your first task to get started here. It's just a simple thing. And again it nested ternary operator I write here. Now this is the main part, means how we show the data, this task array. And here if we task means task.map loop through every task here and render a card here. So every task has the key, that is the task dot id, and this task dot id comes from the MongoDB. MongoDB id is always unique, perfect for this, and React need a unique id for each item in a list for rendering. And next is the each card has two parts. First one is the left side, this that has a this task dot means a circle icon or a check icon, and second one is the title. So click anywhere on this to toggle completed. Like here, I this on completed div, I just apply here the handle update function. Whenever I click on this title or this circle icon, it just call this handle update function. And on the right side, there is a button called the for the delete task, and here I just write here this icon, this /2 icon, may a red delete button, and when the task dot is completed, then show the circle check, else show the empty circle. And if the task dot completed, then line through on the just a strike on the title, and if it is not, just normal, you show the task in a white string in a white color. And on click handle button call, as you know, and after this button and on click a handle delete button called with the task id passes only the id from this function. And always use the arrow function when passing argument is on click here. Like here I already write the arrow function here for the handle update, here handle delete arrow function, but on submit I use the normal one. Where is it? Yes, on submit I just write the handles add. So I already run this. Wait, yes, the backend is running, the front end is running. Yes, front end is also running. So let me open the browser, and this is our application. So let me show you everything working live. So let me add some task. Learn node.js, press enter, see adding and button disable. And let me add one more, learn MongoDB, press enter, adding this start. So here just click the circle or just click on this title. This now the task is marked completed, green check appear here, and strike through on the title, and completed count went up here to the 1. Now let me delete the task. Just click on this red button. If you see, this button change color when you just hover on it and just click it. Task deleted, total count went down. Here is 2. And when I refresh the page, just refresh it, the tasks are still there, means because they were saved in MongoDB, not just in the memory or temporary memory. Everything is working perfectly here. Our complete MERN Task Manager app is done. So let me quickly recap what we covered today. And first we import the axios, useState, useEffect, illustrate icons, and then we initialize the for state, then fetch function, fetch task function for the get request to backend. And after that we use the useEffect for the calling the fetch task function when page reload. And after that, handle add button function, handle delete, handle update. And in the last we see the JSX for data, means header, the stat card, form spinner, and task list. So in the next video, in the 9th video of this series, we will do a complete review of the full project, both backend and the front end together, and we will talk about what you should build next. If this video helped you, please like the video, subscribe to JDCodebase. See you in next video.